catch up. So now we're going to move forward because I did the catch up. So I don't want to start my lesson like we do at the beginning. I don't think we're past that. So I remember this last week where we really stopped it, and it's really around 17 or more 18, but I'll say 17 is where we hit it. It says, you shall not, so partiality and judgment. You shall hear the small as well as the great. You shall not be afraid in any man's presence. For the judgment of God, the case that is too hard for you, bring to me, and I will hear you. 18 says, and I command you at that time all the things which you should do. 19.
So we departed from Horeb and went through all that great and terrible wilderness, which you saw on the way to the mountains of the Amorites, as the Lord our God had commanded us. Then we came to Kadesh Barnea, and I said to you, you have come to the mountains of the Amorites, which the Lord our God is giving us.
21.
Behold, the Lord my God has set the land before you. Go up and possess it, as the Lord my God hath done. Father said unto thee, fear not, neither be discouraged. And I come near unto me, every one of you, and said, we will send men before us, and they shall search out the land, and bring us word again, by what we must go up into the cities, and we shall come.
23.
And the saying pleased me well, and I took 12 men of you, one of a tribe, and they turned and went up into the mountain, and came up unto the valley of Eshcol, and searched it out.
25 and 26.
They also took some of the fruit of the land in their hands and brought it down to us. And they brought back word to us, saying, it is good land which the Lord our God is giving us. Nevertheless, you would not go up, but rebelled against the command of the Lord your God.
And you grumbled in your tents and said, because the Lord hates us, he has brought us out of the land of Egypt to deliver us into the hand of the Amorites to destroy us. Where can we go up? Our brethren have made our hearts melt, saying, the people are bigger and taller than we. The cities are large and fortified to heaven. And besides, we saw the sons of the Anakim there.
29, 30.
Then I said to you, dread not, neither be afraid of them. The Lord your God, which goes before you, he shall fight for you, according to all that he did for you in Egypt before your eyes.
31, 32.
And in the wilderness, where you have seen how the Lord your God bore you, as a man bears his son, in all the ways that you went until you came to this place. Yet in spite of his word, you did not believe the Lord your God.
33, 34.
Who went in the way before you to search out a place for you, to pitch your tent, to show you the way you should go, in the fire by night, and in the cloud by day. And the Lord heard the sounds of your words, and was angry, and took an oath, saying, surely not one of these men of this evil generation shall see that good land of which I swore to give to your fathers.
So, go to Numbers 13. Or go to Numbers 14. Numbers 13 talks about what we're talking about.
Numbers 13 or 14?
Well, Numbers 14 gets his word, that's where you need to be, around 22.
14,
14, number 14, 22.
yeah. You want it read?
Yeah.
Oh, because all these men who have seen my glory and the signs which I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and have put me to the test now these 10 times, and have not heeded my voice, they certainly shall not see the land of which I swore to their fathers, nor shall any of those who rejected me see it.
Lord have mercy.
He meant what he said.
That's powerful, guys. Once God said it,
Once he said it, it's
you
it.
can't reverse it. It's not a reverse. It's not how we would want to feel sorry for somebody. No. Once God says it's done, He can't reverse it. So then getting back to where we were at 17, because that's where we stopped at. You don't need you can have your baby, but you don't necessarily need it.
You mean in Deuteronomy?
Deuteronomy 1:17. It says you shall not show partiality. You have to see that because that could easily take place. What has caused most problems out of a lot of people? We call it the root of what? Even then we say, what is the root of evil?
Money.
We say money. And so we see money, but think about it. Where they're at, would money be of value?
Land would be of value.
Or even would land be of value? I just come out of the wilderness, right?
Right.
All of us, right?
Right.
Just come out. So then what we can do is trade. Because I can't say land, because I have none. See what I'm saying? Because I have no land.
Okay.
I'm going to be given the land. So I can't say land. So then other values that I have, I make my deals of the value that I have, which still won't be much. So then, what do I do? So what do? I'm still looking at someone else's values, and it doesn't change my way of thinking because greed is always there. Greed never goes anywhere. So greed is always in the picture. So then let's take that under consideration since we've got greed that does its dirt or does its work. So then by looking at this back into 17, he's made that clear as a bell. You don't do what?
You don't show partiality.
Don't you dare show partiality, right? And then he finishes it off and he says what?
You shall hear the small as well as the great, and you shall not be afraid in any man's presence, for the judgment is God's.
So then, what would be the thought there? And what would be the thought there? So you're not to fear. So you're not to fear anyone, right? That would be the thought. But look at the bigger picture. He said the small and the great, right? So then he's claiming there are those that would be more financially able than someone else. There would be those that, when we start talking about status, would be someone has a little bit more authority to say something than someone else. So then you would have a tendency of looking at that person and saying, I have to be careful what I say. Listen to what I'm saying. We're talking about a body of people. Isn't that amazing? They should pretty much have the same thing. But isn't it amazing how politics is even in this? So I'm saying how politics is even in this situation, because that's what you got. So God brings to Moses' attention to tell them, you're not to, when it comes to judging, remember, the judging was to do what? From 1,000 to all the way to 10 people. Remember, that's what we read earlier. So that's what you're going to leaders, you keep reducing leaders. Well, in my reducing leaders, let's see, someone that's dealing with 1,000 people, versus someone dealing with 10 people, who would you think that would have clout?
The one dealing with 1,000 people.
You see what I'm saying? And if you don't watch it, so then you over here listening because they got more people. Think about it. What do you have in the church today? Think about it.
Yeah.
Cause I got a smaller church, well, he don't have as much clout.
Yeah.
But this guy over here that's got a lot of people, he has. When God is saying, even with us today, and I just told you all Sunday, in your 1 Corinthians 1:10, let there be no division. Let there be no division. There should not be anyone that's bigger, anyone that's smaller. We should all be on the same playing field. And Claudia spoke on the gentleman that said something that should have never come out of his lips as to denounce or bring this down when it should never. So then what it says is that you've elevated yourself. So you think that you're better than over here. That's horrible. I said,
Actually, that was Steve who said that. I told you what I corrected him.
oh yeah.
That was Steve who said that.
Right.
But it's like me saying it too, because he's my husband. But yeah, he did denounce us.
And like I said to Steve, because when Steve talked afterward, he told me who it was and everything.
Oh, of course.
So I says, it's a shame that you think you're better than someone else. When we're all in the church together, and when we start talking about peers, when we start talking about ministers, I'm no bigger than the minister that's
Over there.
over there.
But I doubt if they have as many people as we have.
I heard.
We should bring both of them together.
I heard it really shrink. I heard it really shrink.
You don't even know.
So then it's now we got a problem. So I got told Steve, I understand what the problem is and why rent's got to go up and all this stuff. Makes sense, because where's the revenue? Because guess what drops now? If that revenue, if they've got no other income,
Of course.
somebody's salary got to
Get cut.
okay. But anyway, what I wanted to see, because that's not where we're at.
But
In 18, he says what?
and I commanded you at that time all the things which you should do.
So we would have to go back from 18 up then, right?
Right.
And go backwards. So he's commanded them everything that they should do. What did I tell you that what was required of them? To learn the law, right? To learn the 10 Commandments, remember? That was required of them. So when we look at this, then what we're going to see is, remember I took you just back to Numbers 14? But really I take you back all the way, we can completely go backwards. Why? Because something's going on here. Now, what is God then has told Moses? Doesn't this all sound like a repeat? If you look at this all sounds like a repeat. So then what is he doing? So that there is no problem, so that there's no one that was too young to understand, I'm going to educate you. So now watch this, and that's why I said looking at 19, he says what? Looking at 19, because that's as far as your old paper goes. So 19 says what?
And when we departed from Horeb, we went through all that great and terrible wilderness, which ye saw by the way of the mountain of the Amorites, as the Lord our God commanded us.
Now ask yourself, what happened to the Amorites? It didn't happen then, but what happened to the Amorites? You don't even have to go far. Go to verse 4. We're in Deuteronomy 1, verse 4 says what?
And after he killed
Zion.
king of the Amorites.
Of the who?
Of the Amorites.
Did you? Go ahead. So, you see what he's going back to bring to their attention because they know king's been killed. If the king has been killed, what happens to everybody else?
They just scatter.
They scatter, or they also are in some serious trouble.
Or they
And they're
be
going to be killed. Right. So most likely, it's not scattered. Most likely is they are what? Killed. So this is what now he's doing. What are you doing? This is what God has told Moses to tell the group 20 and under. Remember? So I've got to remind you, right? So 20 again, 19 says what? Steve, 19 says what?
And when we departed from Horeb, we went through all that great and terrible wilderness, which ye saw by the way of the mountain of the Amorites, as the Lord our God commanded us. And we came to Kadesh Barnea.
Now I want you to see something else. Now what you need to see is king's been dead. The Amorites have been captured. So then he says, but he called it a terrible wilderness, right? What you need to see then is how close were the Israelites to the promised land? Those that were 20 and older. How close were you to the promised land? You were close is not the word as we get farther into this.
You were there.
You were there. Because your first assignment is to do what? To kill the Amorites. See what I'm saying? So you were there. You were moments away from just crossing over. Now he's going to explain some stuff. Some fruit. He's going to explain some stuff. Some spies. Remember, he's going to talk about them spies. He's going to explain some stuff. Why? And I want you to see something. As we open this up, I want you to see, I don't even think I need my paper. But I want you to see this. Watch this. 20 says what?
I said to you, you have come to the hill country of the Amorites, which the Lord our God is about to give us.
So watch this. Yours says is about to give us. So watch. So then, and I'll stick with mine says is giving us. But it's the same. But it's the same. About to give us. So then we know he can't be talking about the group today or the group then.
Right.
The 20 and under. We know he can't be talking. He's then talking about who? The 20 and older. I was this close to giving this to them. Gotta see it. So now he opens up, read some more. He says what?
See, the Lord your God has placed the land before you. Go up, take possession, as the Lord, the God of your fathers, has spoken to you. Do not fear or be dismayed.
Keep going.
Then all of you approached me and said, let us send men before us, that they may search out the land for us and bring back to us word of the way by which we should go up and the cities which we shall enter.
And 23, gotta see it.
The thing pleased me, and I took 12 of your men, one man for each tribe.
Stop. Go back to 21. Read 21. This is what I want you to see.
See, the Lord your God has placed the land before you. Go up, take possession, as the Lord, the God of your fathers, has spoken to you. Do not fear or be dismayed.
I want you to see something. What words should stand out? Both? No.
Possess.
No, see that. There's one word that causes all kinds of problems.
Do not
Renee just said it. Say it again. Fear.
Do not fear.
Fear. Want you to get your paper.
Yeah.
Want you to see. Okay, Clyde, read from the paper. The people.
The people were given the privilege of seeing.
Did you get one?
Steve, you have one of these? You have a paper? Oh, okay. The people were given the privilege of seeing the promised land. Kadesh Barnea was in the hill country of the Amorites, and their fat set on the border of the
Where was
promised
it?
land. Huh?
Where
They were
was
right
it?
there.
It's on the border.
They were right there, they set.
You got a border. We got a border.
Right here.
Tijuana and
San Diego.
the United States. That's your border. How much closer you gotta get? All you gotta do is
Cross over.
step over. Did you hear me? Step over. So keep going.
This means the Israelites had indeed reached the very border of the promised
Lord
land
have
itself. The people could actually stand on the hills and look out into the promised
You can see
land.
it. Keep go. Read me some more though.
The people were challenged and exhorted by Moses to arise, go up, and take possession of the land. They were not to fear nor be discouraged, for God had promised to give them victory over the enemies who stood against them. Conquest was assured. Possession of the land was guaranteed by God himself. Consequently, there was no reason to fear nor to become discouraged. The people were to be courageous and march forth, conquering all the enemies who opposed their entering the promised land. The people took the first step toward failure. They shut their ears
Hello. There we go.
to exhortation.
Go 21. Tiffany says what?
See, the Lord your God has placed the land before you. Go up.
Do
take
what?
possession, go up.
What did you say? Jordan? Go. See, the Lord has created the church for us. See, the Lord has brought us together. Go and make disciples. Do you hear? I'm trying to, Old Testament is to relate to the New. Read, what, and what'd you say?
No fear, be discouraged.
Isn't that something? And what do? I don't know what to say when I go out. You don't need to know what to say. The Holy Spirit will speak for you.
Yes.
But you gotta have,
Courage.
Lord, have mercy, the size of a mustard seed.
That's the faith.
Did you hear me?
Faith.
Just the size of a mustard seed. What has violated God with Westchester? We too won't go. We too won't go. And he's telling them, it's there, it's yours. You can see it. And he's telling us, it's there, Christ is in you. You can see your heaven. It's for you. I might give it to you. I can't wait to give you a better place. But I can't give it to stiff-necked, stubborn people. I cannot, I will not. Just like the Israelites, 20 and older, couldn't get it. So I want you to see this. How did fear come in? 22, read 22 for me.
Says, then all of you approached me and said, let us send men before us, that they may search out the land for us and bring back to us word of the way by which we should go up and the cities which we shall enter.
What's the problem?
Why they gotta send somebody
They don't want to
else?
go
Oh, but what's the problem? Something started this. Read it again, and I'm going to shut you down right when you...
Then all of you approached me.
What? What's the problem? Then what? What's the problem? You got everybody else want to give. Now help you make a decision. You're God's man. Moses, you're God's man. Moses, he's talked to you. Moses, he's told you to tell them to go. So what did you do? You wanted to pacify the people. You sit there and listen to what they said, and your Bible says somebody, well, it pleased him or something. See where?
Plan 23.
See it? Where? See that?
The thing pleased me and I...
See that? The thing pleased who? The thing pleased who? When did you become God?
Exactly.
But you see what I'm saying? You're the spokesperson for God. I say it so often. I say things. Folks don't like it. don't need to back off from you. I'm sorry you're leaving. Okay, I really wish you wouldn't, but it's not for me to back off.
The word is the word.
Yes, and God has spoken to his leader. No, he speaks to us all. But God speaks to his man. Don't ever remove that. And then I said, man, not boy. Man. I said, and then there's going to be some decisions I have to make that you don't like. That you really don't like. But I'm to be what? Watching over the flock. I am to know or to understand what's best. And the only way I'll understand what's best is, what did you do, Moses? You allowed your emotions to kick in.
He was very emotional. He's an emotional man.
And he sure is. And watch this. And watch this. And I don't have a problem with you being compassionate. I have a problem with you being emotional. See what I'm saying? That's the problem. Well, and then somebody said, that's because you're hard. I am not hard. I'm compassionate. But because you can't get your way, now I'm hard when I'm not hard. So look at, that's why I told you I really don't need this paper. This is what's going on. You've got a situation at hand. And the situation at hand started from where? From the leader. From that leader, from Moses. You took the time to listen to them. Last time I checked, when we go back into Numbers 13 backwards, weren't they always complaining? So then why would I have all the people, this says all, why would I have a congregation come up and, well, I tell you, I think what we need to do is this. I tell you what I think we need. And sometimes even when we do things, I say, I know, but this is not what we're going to do. Oh, well, don't shoot me down in front of people. Well, don't bring it up. Because my intentions aren't to hurt your feelings. Speaking of being late. Try to be nice. Close the door.
Hey, you like the Baptist do. Put your one finger up and tiptoe in.
But anyway, this is what I'm talking about, where when we understand, why is it history keeps repeating itself? This is what we're doing, we're repeating it. When I said you got friends, you got co-workers, you can talk about the basketball game, you can talk about the football game, you can talk about your cars. When do you talk about Christ? You hear what I'm saying? When do you talk about Christ? When do you share Christ with them? This is it. And please, I am not condemning you for your football, basketball cars. I'm not condemning you on those. But could you put Christ in your conversation? Could you get them to understand you need to come worship with me? I will go to your football, basketball, car shows. I will go with you. Can you come go with me? Make God your priority. Top. Make him your top priority. So they can talk about the beautiful things. I'm only bothering Steve because I seen the car. It's a nice looking. He's got it looking beyond nice. So now that I've got you hung up on my vehicle, let me get you hung up on my God. See what I'm saying? Let me get you hung up on my God too. It works hand in hand. So 23 says what? In your Bible?
I'll take my glasses off to read.
And the saying pleased me well. And I took 12 men of you.
And so what did you do?
I took 12 men.
12 of the men,
One from each tribe.
So what did I do? Out of each tribe, I decided to make them leaders. Did God tell you to do that?
No.
You can see it?
Yeah,
God didn't tell you to do that. You thought it was something that would be the thing to do, because I can understand when it came down to judging the people, yeah, you need help. Too many people. For you be all for the rest of your life. Somebody's coming in to ask you about this, somebody's coming. So I can understand that. So you do want to narrow it down to where you got somebody take care of this, somebody take that, somebody take here, somebody till you down to 10. That's what the text says. Down to 10. That makes sense. But I want you to see something. Now go back up. If you can, go back up into verse, 17. Go back up to verse 17. Now I want you to sit and read, Claudia, then you got it.
You shall not show partiality in judgment.
No, keep going.
You shall hear the small as well as the great.
Come on.
You shall not be afraid in any man's presence.
Come on.
The judgment is God's.
Come on.
In case this is too hard for you.
The case that is too hard for
The
you.
case that is too hard for you.
You to do what?
Bring to me.
You to do what?
Bring to me.
So,
And I
was
will-
that too hard a case, Moses, that you had, did you catch it?
No.
That you had to deal with? Even in them bringing that to your attention, you didn't have anything to worry about. What has happened when they went against Moses? Didn't God kill them when they went against him? So you don't need somebody to make your decision. You don't need 12 men to go out and spy over the land. Because in these 12 men, did you learn of them? Did you hear me? Did you learn of them? You allowed the tribe to choose, and they were supposed to choose that are wise and understand. That's your text. That's what they're supposed to choose. So in their selection, how do you know that their selection lines itself up with God? Did you choose somebody else that's outspoken with you? I don't want to do with you. If you won't do it, okay. If you won't do it, then you can. Did you hear me? How did you choose this? Was he interviewed to make sure he's God chosen and not because you wanted to do a bailout? Because you didn't want to take on the responsibility? 10 of them, you didn't choose well. Right? 2 came back with a good report. What am I talking about? Caleb and Joshua. What in the world put under the 10? Now let's travel. 24 says what?
And they departed and went up into the mountains and came to the valley of Eshcol and spied it out. They also took some of the fruit of the land in their hands, just like and brought it down to us. And they went back, and they brought back word to us, saying, "It is good land which the Lord our God is giving."
Where did they get the land from? I mean, where did they get the fruit from?
From Eshcol.
Where is that?
That's the Amorites land.
Where is
In
that?
the promised land.
Hello?
That's the promised land.
Where did you get it
The
from?
promised land, where he already said it was
You're
gonna be
right. This is what I want you to see.
Yeah.
You actually got it from what God was going to give or take you. You saw fruit
So
outstanding. You even came back because 2 people had to carry it and said, ooh, the fruit is, if the fruit is good, can you imagine? The land is fertile. The land, man, you can drop a seed. You don't even have to plant it. Just drop it and it'll grow. You see the mindset? He's trying to get you to see something. So watch this. 25 says what?
Then they took some of the fruit of the land in their hands and brought it down to us. And they brought us back a report and said, it is a good land which the Lord our God is about to give us.
Keep going.
Yet you were not willing to go up, but rebelled against the command of the Lord your God.
That's it right there.
That's what I want you to see. And that's something. You got your paper?
Yes.
I want you to see it. We stopped at
The people
20, a single cluster.
Okay. A single cluster of grapes was so large that it had to be carried along with other fruit on a pole by 2 men.
And that's something. Come on.
The word Eshcol means the valley of the cluster.
That's what when you kept saying. That's what I want you to say. Can you imagine to look over to us? We don't see it, but to a farmer, to see the size of the fruit on this. Our farmers are happy camper. So to see this,
Now you got something to
now do I see it? How are we supposed to carry that? That is huge. So what we'll do is cut a little bit and take it back with us. We're going to take this back with us. You have been where? You have been where the Amorites are. You have not killed any of the Amorites. You're going to take out the Amorites. This is yours. This is God that is. You don't go on my property cutting my plant. Cutting my fruit. It's just that simple. And think you're going to walk. It don't go that way. They cut it and bringing it back. I see you with cluster on your shoulder, walking out of my land with a cluster on your shoulder. You know how much money I'm going to lose because you out there snatching my fruit? It doesn't happen that way. So then watch this, read some more of the paper.
After 40 days, the spies returned with the samples of fruit from the promised land. They reported that the land was good, but the enemies were too strong and fortified for a campaign to be launched against them.
Did you know 40 days, 40 years? You didn't even see it. 40 days, 40 years. God, once again, trying to get them to see. I said we don't get it. We are some of the most stiff-necked, stubborn people. It's in front of us what God wills for us. It's in front of us what God wants to give to us. But we're so stiff-necked and stubborn. I've shown you salvation is real. What do you mean? You've got the cluster of grapes to see the promised land is real. You got Jesus Christ who died on the cross that's showing you it is real. What do we need? You see what's going on? Isn't that something? By the way, promised land represents heaven. Jesus represents heaven. You see how this is? I told you, Old Testament goes hand in hand with the New Testament. You can see this thing opening up more and more. Give me 26 on the paper. 26 said what?
The people became gripped with fear and unbelief, and they rebelled against God.
The people got afraid.
Got scared.
Watch this other grapes. Now, I want you to go back into your Bible. 27 says what in your Bible? Verse 27 says what in your Bible?
You grumbled in your tents and said, because the Lord hates us, he has brought us out of the land of Egypt to deliver us into the hand of the Amorites to destroy us.
So watch this. Did you run into the Amorites when you were there? Did you get into a fight when you was there?
No.
To pluck the grapes off of another man's vineyard. Where were the Amorites that you already screaming about? Hold on. I need you to read some more. 28 says what?
Where can we go up? Our brethren have made our hearts melt, saying, the people are bigger and taller than we.
So what is the problem?
The people are bigger.
You put your trust in man. Guess what?
Now you fear.
In man, your leaders, 10 of them said, man, you got to see these dudes. Woo! We just burned the guy away with these grapes. we just burned you. I don't know how we managed to get through, but we got through.
delicious grapes.
How in the world would you come back with such a report that nothing happened to you? That's the first thing I would have done was say, Chief, you all right? Where did you get you at? Where did he get you at? He didn't get you? So then what did he say to you that scared you?
Then they start talking about they saw the anacoms there too.
The anacoms are giants.
Giants, yeah.
But so wait a minute, what are you talking about? You saw these men. Did they bother you? Did they do anything to you? Did they say something to you? Wait a minute, Rico, hold up. You trying to tell me they didn't say nothing to you? Well, hold up, Rico. Surely they hit you. Surely they swiped at you, right? Or something, right? No. Then, what are we fearing? Because they big. You need to see they're huge men. So what? Who do you have on your side? I think he's bigger than them. What you think? But you're not thinking that way. He's giving this to you. God, not man, not Moses. God is giving this to you. God has told Moses to tell you, even though Moses made his choice by telling him you sent 12 over. Even when you went over, you came back with proof. You came back with clusters of grapes, the size of baseballs. You came back. You're showing how beautiful the land is. What in the world is going on? I'm saying this because remember, Moses is rehearsing or redoing this to the 20 and under. They need to see, this is what your forefathers was running from. What? Nothing. Nothing. They just did not trust in the Lord. What are we running from? Nothing. We just don't trust. Don't you? But I do trust in the Lord. Your trust is, James 1 says, faith without works is dead. He says, you show me your faith and I'll show you my works. Where's our works? Don't tell me you believe in God and you don't do anything. That's what James is talking about. Here we go again. Here's your Old Testament. You didn't do anything to get those grapes. You didn't have to beat nobody up. You didn't even have to hear no foul language. You didn't have to hear anything. You just went over and plucked them and came on back. Really, you didn't even have to pluck them, but you wanted to bring back a proof. But the bottom line, that's yours. God says, I'm giving you something you didn't even do. Jesus says, hey, I've got a mansion prepared for you. He says, I wouldn't have told you these things if it wasn't true. Where I go, you can't come yet. But I go to do something.
Prepare.
It's already prepared. Your promised land. Where I went, it's already prepared. How do we get something of this magnitude? God says, I'll put away evil. That ain't for you. I'll kill evil. It's not for you to kill it. I'm going to remove it. So then watch this. Now let's read some more in our text. So in our text he says what? Where we at, 28, 29?
Where can we go up? Our brethren have made our hearts melt, saying the people are bigger and taller than we. The cities are large and fortified to heaven. And besides, we saw the sons of Anakim there.
That's my point. Who is singing this mess? To who? You got to 10. Just telling the congregation this. You know what? If you got a problem, if you're afraid, that's your business. But don't you discourage me.
That's right.
You don't want to do something, that's your business.
That's right.
Don't do it. But don't stop me from doing it. It's amazing. 2 are available, but their voices can't be heard. Because you got 10 that are saying, you need to understand, these men will, oh Lord, they'll just boom, and it's over. Did they do that?
They came back, so they didn't do it.
Isn't that something? So they didn't do it. You didn't even hear foul language from them. You know, at least if you'd have said, yeah, man, we was running for our lives. Because we heard them say something, they're going to kill us. You didn't even hear that. Listen to what, and this is what we do in the church. You discourage somebody. You know, let me tell you about so-and-so. That's discouraging. Look, if that's how you feel about Brother Thompson, that's your business. Don't have me entertain how you feel about Brother Thompson. You know, I don't see him with those eyes. So, something he must have did to you or you must have did. But the bottom line is, don't plant negative news in my head.
Don't plant those seeds.
Don't plant them. I don't want them seeds. So then watch this. Now we're going to travel. You got your paper again, right?
Yeah.
So I will look at your paper. Stay on your ID 27. Then you flip it over. You see the people.
The people grumbled in there.
No, the people lost.
The people lost heart because
Isn't
of
that
the
sad?
spies' negative report.
Isn't that sad?
Note how they continually stress the negative and expose the unbelief of their hearts. The enemy was stronger and taller. The cities were fortified. The Anak, our giants, were there. We know from the book of Numbers that the 10 spies who opposed the campaign began to spread their bad, defestive report among the people. They stressed, exaggerated, and distorted the negative factors.
You just don't stop. You got to blow this out of proportion.
That's what it sounds like.
Isn't that something? We just barely made it back. Okay? You got a grape in your mouth. What you talking about? You just barely made it
You grew up in the state, you carry a grape. That's probably why you barely made it back. Wiping it.
As Jamal licks his fingers, you know what I'm saying? But you don't want to go there. No. How often do I tease you all? Let me try this. Oh no, I wouldn't. I suggest you all don't eat this because this is just. Oh no, I'll tell you what. I'll just eat it myself. And you all, I'm looking out for you.
Right.
Okay.
Banana pudding.
This is how this is. This is so sad. So then, give me back, Claudia, the people.
The people again were exhorted by Moses. Moses did all he could. He challenged the people not to fear their enemies, but to trust God. He assured the people that God would lead them and fight for them just as he had led and fought for them in Egypt and in the wilderness, in the desert wilderness. God would carry them along just as fathers carry his sons. Note that God's leadership and power on behalf of his people had been demonstrated before their very eyes. The first generation of believers had been eyewitnesses of God's presence, guidance, and power. But despite this wonderful and phenomenal experience, they tragically failed again.
Listen to what we're talking about. We're not talking about the 20 and under. The 20 and older. We got to see, the plagues that took place.
Yep.
We saw it. We walked away. We got to see the last plague when he killed every baby. We got to see where it was darkness and yet where we were it was sunny and bright. We got to see these things and yet we're still discouraged. That doesn't make sense. Right. This is how bad it got to where you don't believe. Is this how bad it is with
And
us?
they saw stuff.
Did you hear me? Is this how bad it was with us? Is that why we don't do what we should be doing? Is that what's hindering us from doing what God called us to do? You ain't witnessed none of this. But yet, we don't go and make disciples. I stated this concerning the church. I said, right now I got a rack. It's a portable rack. And on that portable rack, in just a little bit, I'll be having Renee get me brochures. And I want all kinds of brochures on that rack. That rack is going to go out with me. It's a little bit warmer. And I'm going to set it out there. Your daughter's supposed to be working on me, not yet, but I won't tell her. Well, she's supposed to be working on me where I want Westchester Church of Christ, the address and the telephone number, and welcome abundant. What do you mean? What are you going to do?
You're going to sit out
But
there?
I don't know how to talk to the people. So what are you going to do? Then you don't talk to the people. Let it speak for you. It's right there. Let it speak for you. Where now you can go even sit down behind the little table that you have. Sit there. If you still don't want to talk to people, you can read your Bible. Somebody's going to come by. Somebody has an interest by seeing a brochure. It is then time to speak out and to speak up. You don't want nobody that don't want to be here. You want those that have an interest to be here.
Yeah.
It's that simple. That little thing is going to be so simple. In a little bit, I'll be asking for pens with the church's address and telephone number on it. Give them a pen. What he said. Watch this. When their hearts become soft, then somebody will take it back and say, I think I'll just go by and see what's going on with this place. But if we discourage people, let me show you what I mean by discourage. You know, if you come and you need to know the church is small. Really? Well, why do I need to know that? That's my point. Why do I need to know that the church is small?
The church is so loving.
Yes.
The people there
Yes.
are so wonderful.
That's my point. So you don't say negative things.
Right.
You say positive things. All I know is I can tell you to come. I just enjoy myself. I think you should come. What's your name?
Teaching is awesome.
There it is.
Yeah.
What is it? All I can tell you is just come, girl. Just come. You gotta say, I want to tell you, you know what? Then I would be planting something in your ear. Just come and hear it. That's all. It's just that simple. All they had to do was, if nothing else, don't say nothing.
Right. Just let them
Just let them see the grapes. If nothing else, just let them see the grapes. But you didn't do that. You discouraged the people. They are known for grumbling. They're known for complaining. It don't take much to kick them. It don't take much to stir that up again.
A long time.
You got it. What did you do? You stirred it right back up. So here they are complaining again. I want you to see 30. Verse 30 says what?
The Lord your God, who goes before you, will himself fight on your behalf, just as he did for you in Egypt.
That's what I wanted you to see.
And in the wilderness, where you saw how the Lord your God carried you, just as a man carries his son, all the way which you have walked until you came to this place.
Look at that. You think it was you. Watch this. You went in that water grave of baptism thinking you did it. Thinking you did it. When God is trying to tell you, I called you
Before the fountain.
before. So how in the world can you think you did something?
All right.
You just followed through. But I had already chosen who will enter into the kingdom because I start seeing folks. I said, some of y'all ain't gonna make it. I said, and who's the some of y'all? Whoever runs around with this spirit, whoever has these 400 excuses, you're gonna have to talk to God about this one day. See, you can tell me, give me all your reasons. God knows your heart.
Amen.
God knows you.
Amen.
That's how deep this can be. That I keep talking about we playing church. This is divine. We can't, it may look like we walk in here and sit in wooden pews. God is in our presence. He sees the hearts of those that want to be here.
That's right.
Well, I want to be here. I came. You came because that's what you used to doing on Sunday mornings. This is a habit. It ain't got nothing to do with your worship. Why? Because you want to sit way in the back somewhere. That tells me you don't even want to fellowship. You don't even want to associate with your brothers and sisters. You rather sit back in the back and you're the first one, if something goes down, complain. You're the first ones. This is why I'm talking about 30, I'm stopping at 30. It's got so much, but I want you to see, he is going back over to the 20 and under. What happened to the 20 and over? Don't you do the same thing.
That they do.
Don't you repeat what they did. Because what have you done? 40 years you've been in this wilderness.
You would think.
You also came this close. And then I had Miriam die. And I sent you back. You came again this close. Then I had Aaron die. And I sent you back again. Huh? You were this close and I keep sending you back. Now I'm sending you one more time. This is it.
Trying to get you there.
I'm trying my best. What else I gotta do? Like they said, what a brother gotta do? Okay. And that's it. What do you, Christ has said, God has said, I sent my son.
Okay.
What else do I need to do to get you to change your mind? I keep saying it. You came in conformed. And you remain conformed.
Need to transform.
You were supposed to transform. You were supposed to recognize your behavior as unacceptable. You're supposed to realize, you know what, I am going to love everybody in this church. That's what you were supposed to be doing, transforming. But you still, someone comes to you to discipline, you still got an answer. You can still justify why you did what you did.
Amen.
That's not transforming.
No.
You can't even accept discipline. That's a wake-up call, guys, for all of us. Is there anybody else? Because I'm done. Is there anybody?